Hey guys, it's Dee Spur here, and I am coming to you live here on Facebook. And I am going to share with you tonight the 3 hardest things about going low carb or keto. Okay, so stick with me to the end so you can get these top tips. And for now, for those of you joining me, thank you so much. And if you've been on my videos before, drop a number 2 down in the comments. And if this is the first time you're here with me live, thank you for joining. And drop a number 1 and put your name down in the comments. That way I can give you a shout out, say hello, and get to know you, okay? So here we go. So let's talk about low carb keto. So a little kind of disclaimer here. I am not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. I am a health coach, and I just love sharing things with you, sharing what I learned, sometimes sharing what I do in my own life to help you guys reach your goals, okay? So 3 hardest things about low carb and keto. First thing is the cravings, the carb cravings that we get. Second thing is week 1 and 2. Okay, and the third hardest thing is tracking. So I'm going to go over all 3, and hopefully you will get some value. And if you don't mind, for others to get that same value, please hit the share button down in the corner. I would totally appreciate that. So carbs, guys, let's talk about crazy carbs. We have been living our entire life craving these crazy carbs. Okay, think about it. As a kid, I remember being a kid and my mother, giving us like Lucky Charms, Cheerios, all those fun cereals, and they were just packed with sugar and packed with carbs, guys. And then for lunch, I would have a PB&J and Nutty Butter. Oh my gosh, I think back and I just think about all those carbs that I took in as a kid or a young adult. No wonder we are addicted, right? I mean, think about that. So as time goes and we become educated and we understand our bodies better, we want to change all that. We're tired of the addiction. And the addiction creates and it makes, us crave the carbs. So therefore, for now as adults, we're sitting at home, it's late at night, we have these crazy cravings. Why? It's because what we have done all of our life. So we have to take steps to change that. So how do we stop the cravings? Guys, slowly start switching those processed foods, pizzas, chocolate muffins, cookies, anything. I mean, think about all the processed food and the refined sugar that comes with those, those yummy foods that we crave. I get it. They're good. They taste wonderful, but they're not healthy for us, okay? So we want to start slowly making changes. So what you do is you start switching out those refined sugars, those carbs, those processed food, those pizzas, those cakes, those cookies that just are all around us. Switch those to healthy fats. Now, don't get hung up on the fats because some people are like, no, we can't have those. They're bad for us. Make sure they're healthy fats. If you switch that if you switch your carb to a healthy fat, your cravings are going to go down, guys. They're going to go down. You're not going to be hungry at 7, 8 o'clock at night because those fats make you feel full and they make you feel satisfied longer. Okay? So that's about the carbs. The next thing, you have to give it more than a day or 2. Stick with this for 1 to 2 weeks. Don't quit. Mistakes happen. Obstacles, bumps in the road, roller coaster, whatever you want to call it, it happens. You have to stick to this. Don't let a minor glitch, a pretzel, a cookie, ruin it for the lifetime, right? You have to stick to it. And in order to make a change, it has to be longer than 1 or 2 days. So we have to go in it with our mindset, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick with this longer than a couple days. So if you do it for 1 week, 2 week, then say to yourself, let's do 3, let's do 4, and then it becomes a lifestyle. That's very, very important, okay? Also, the other thing that's really difficult that people have a hard time, this is tip number 3, guys. Remember, if you don't mind, hit that share button. That way others can see this too, and then they can also begin their life, their healthy lifestyle, okay? So, tracking, guys, crazy, I know. Just keep doing it. It's important to document your food. This is why. Sometimes we don't realize what we eat, right? So when you track it, you put it in an app. There's multiple apps out there. There's MyFitnessPal, there's Carb Manager. I think there's a keto one. Now, there's free ones, there's paid ones. So just choose what fits you. You don't have to do something that someone else is doing. Find one that fits you and stick to it. Now, also, what's important is your macros. What is a macro? It's a protein, fat, carb, okay? So remember, we want to focus on low carbs, high fat. So if you're documenting that in your app, it's going to tell you. Actually, I think I was on a keto app and it actually sent up a red flag when I put something in there that was going to max me out. So a good little extra tip here is document before you eat. If you document before you eat, it's going to flag you and you're going to know if you're going to be over what you're allowing yourself, okay? So that's super, super important. If you don't know what a fat is, if you don't know what a carb is, if you don't know what a protein is, Google it. Get a list, print it out, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your phone. Our phones are like small computers these days. Hey, Marianne, how are you? Thanks for jumping on. Also, if you don't mind sharing it, that would be totally awesome. So guys, tracking. Now, I know we're going to make mistakes. You may have a day that you're like sky high on carbs and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? What was I thinking? Where am I? That's okay too, because you can have the next day to jump back on track, okay? So just remember, don't ever quit. Don't ever give up, okay? So 3 tips I just shared with you tonight. Cravings and carbs. Let's ditch the carbs, increase the fat. That takes care of your cravings, okay? Sticking with it. Tip number 2, stick with it longer than a couple days. Go 1 week, 2 week. Again, this is lifestyle changes. It's not a diet. It's not a quick fix. It's lifestyle, right? So we have to keep pressing through. Just keep punching that wall forward. Keep going. The other thing, I promise, if you start documenting, it's going to be an eye-opener for you. And I promise you, you're going to see changes, because if you document, you're going to know what you're eating, right? I coach under 100 carbs. I start you out at 100. I drop you down slowly. Those of you that are on keto, I think it's like 5% is your carbs, 75%. Now remember, that's not grams, that's percentages, okay? But it's the 75% fat. If you're doing that, great. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I don't mind at all, but it's important. Take these 3 tips, start now, don't wait till tomorrow, and get onto your journey. And I promise you, if you keep going, you will see results, okay? Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you next week. Bye, guys.